This is a fascinating and rapidly evolving chapter in our human story. Here is a full, detailed narrative based on the latest scientific evidence, piecing together the true story of the Neanderthals and Homo sapiens 40,000 years ago. The setting, a world in climatic turmoil. It is 40,000 years ago, a period known as the Late Pleistocene. The Earth is in the grip of an ice age. Vast ice sheets cover much of northern Europe and Asia, and sea levels are over 100 meters lower than today, exposing land bridges like the one connecting Britain to the continent. Eurasia is a cold, dry, and often harsh place. It is a landscape of mammoth steppes, treeless grasslands teeming with megafauna, woolly mammoths, rhinoceroses, giant elk, and steppe bison. This is the domain of the Neanderthals, Homo neanderthalensis. For over 400,000 years, they have been the undisputed masters of this continent. They are not the brutish cavemen of old cartoons, but a highly intelligent, robust, and supremely adapted human species. Physically, they are shorter and far more powerfully built than us, with a barrel chest and strong limbs, an anatomy evolved to conserve heat. Their large noses are designed to warm and humidify the frigid, dry air. Culturally, they are skilled toolmakers, Mysterian industry, expert hunters of large game. They control fire, bury their dead, and there is evidence they used pigments and adorned themselves with feathers and claws, suggesting a capacity for symbolic thought. But a change is coming from the south. The newcomers, Homo sapiens, arrived for millennia. Our species, Homo sapiens, had been evolving and thriving in Africa. Around 60,000, 70,000 years ago, small bands began their great migration out of Africa, moving along coastlines and through green corridors. By 45,000, 40,000 years ago, these modern humans had reached Europe. They looked different, taller, leaner, with a lighter frame better suited to endurance running in warmer climates. They brought with them a revolutionary cultural package, advanced technology. They crafted blades and tools from stone, bone, and antler, with the efficiency Neanderthals hadn't achieved. Aurigation industry. Symbolic explosion. They created intricate cave art, carved elaborate figurines like the Lowenmensch Lion Man, and made sophisticated jewelry from shell, ivory, and animal teeth. This points to a complex language and a rich symbolic world. Broader diets. Evidence suggests Homo sapiens exploited a wider range of food resources, including fish, birds, and plants, making them more resilient when big game was scarce. The contact, a mosaic of encounters. The meeting of these two species was not a single event, but a slow, patchwork process across a vast continent over thousands of years. Encounters would have been rare, given the low population density, perhaps only a few tens of thousands of individuals for each species across all of Europe. When they did meet, the interactions were likely a complex mix of 1. Curiosity and observation. Both species were intelligent and observant. They would have watched each other from a distance, perhaps tracking the same herds. They might have been intensely curious about the other. Conflict and competition. This was almost certainly a part of their relationship. They were competing for the same essential resources: prime shelter, caves, fresh water, and the same large prey animals. Homo sapiens, with their potentially more advanced projectile technology, like spear throwers, and broader social networks, may have had a slight competitive edge in these contests, slowly outcompeting Neanderthals for the best territories. The cultural exchange. This is a critical and once underappreciated aspect. There is evidence that late-stage Neanderthal tools began to show influences from Homo sapiens technology, a culture called the Chattelperonian. Did they trade? Did they observe and imitate? It's strong evidence that the encounter was not purely hostile. For interbreeding, the most intimate contact. We now know definitively from genetic evidence that the encounters were sometimes intimate. Neanderthals and modern humans did not just fight, they also had children together. This wasn't a rare fluke. Today, almost all people of non-African descent carry 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA in their genomes. This is the legacy of those ancient couplings. Furthermore, a 40,000-year-old Homo sapiens jawbone found in Romania was found to have a Neanderthal ancestor just 4 to 6 generations back, proving these were direct, personal encounters. This interbreeding was a two-way street. DNA from a 50,000-year-old Neanderthal in Siberia showed signs of Homo sapiens ancestry from a much earlier encounter, tens of thousands of years before the main wave into Europe. The end of an era. Why did the Neanderthals disappear? Around 40,000 years ago, the Neanderthal population was already small and fragmented. Their final disappearance, about 10,000 years after Homo sapiens arrived, was likely caused by a perfect storm of factors, not a single event. 1. Assimilation. Every time a Neanderthal and a Homo sapiens had a child, that was one less pure Neanderthal in the next generation. Over thousands of years, this genetic swamping by a larger, more numerous incoming population would have slowly absorbed the Neanderthal lineage into ours. Competition. Homo sapiens may have been slightly more efficient hunters or better at exploiting diverse food sources, giving them a demographic advantage during hard times. Climate instability. The period was marked by severe and rapid climate fluctuations. Homo sapiens, with their more flexible technology and social structures, may have been better able to adapt to these sudden changes. Sheer bad luck. Their populations were already very small. A run of bad winters, a disease brought in by the newcomers, or simple demographic swamping could have been the final push for an already vulnerable species. They did not go out with a bang, but with a whisper, their lineage fading and blending into that of the newcomers. The legacy, they live on in us. The story of Neanderthals is not one of failure and replacement. It is a story of interaction, adaptation, and ultimately merger. The most profound true story is written in our own DNA. That 1 to 4% Neanderthal inheritance wasn't junk. It provided useful adaptations for the incoming Homo sapiens as we moved into the cold climates of Eurasia. Genes inherited from Neanderthals influenced our immune systems, helping us fight off new pathogens. Skin and hair, aiding in UV light protection and thermoregulation. Metabolism, helping process new diets. So 40,000 years ago, two human species lived side by side. They competed, they learned from each other, they fought and they loved. And in the end, one was absorbed into the other. The Neanderthals as a distinct people vanished, but they never truly went extinct. They live on, a silent but significant part of humanity's genetic heritage.